Okay, good evening, YouTube. I'm just getting off of work right now. Decided to make a quick video before I go home. It's been a crazy week this week. It was really cold, freezing. I was working out here at the port at around 20-degree Fahrenheit weather, and it just started warming up. Well, anyways, I said I was going to do a video on slave mentality. And basically, when I say slave mentality, I'm defining that as having an inferior complex, I guess, or an inferior way of thinking, and not standing up for oneself like a slave would. You just basically do what you're told, and you're basically afraid of standing up for yourself because you're afraid of what comes with the dangers of standing up for yourself. And the reason I'm speaking about slave mentality is because earlier in the week, or last week, I was watching the news on some things that were going on in Ecuador. There was a prison riot, and I was watching these prison guards they were getting executed by the prisoners, and I've seen videos before online, like on Chaotic or on DYNC. Basically, like they're like these gore websites, and where people are executed and they don't stand up for themselves. And I can never understand why you wouldn't want to stand up for yourself when you're about knowing that you're gonna be killed. There was a scene in the movie, I forget the name. It's something list. It's some Holocaust movie. I can't think of it. It was either maybe The Pianist or I'm not sure. But they were killing off these people, these Jewish people, and there's a guy, he's shooting them one by one, and they're all in line, and he runs out of bullet, and he's loading one, and he keeps going, and people don't try to stop him. They just stood there. And when I saw that in the movie, I was like, this isn't realistic. People wouldn't just stay there and wait to be executed, you know. But in real life, it happens all the time. Very rarely do I see somebody fight back. I've only seen one video online of somebody fighting back, and that was an Italian guy who was in Iraq. And the video, I think it said, "This is how an Italian dies," because he knew that he was going to execute it, and he stood up and he was about to duke it out, because he wasn't going to make it easy for them, knowing that what they were going to do. And I'm in the mindset that I would do the same thing if I know I see a hole, or I have some people with guns, and I know what they're going to do. I'm gonna take somebody out with me, you know. Oh, and first of all, I probably wouldn't be in a situation, because I'm on the mindset, if you get caught, it's not gonna end well. So you should always, I'm always thinking, especially about certain people, like terrorists or cartel people. I know that it's not gonna go well. I have a better chance of if I fight and I'm not captured. Anywho, so that's the thing. It's I want to speak about people. Why do they have a slave mentality? And I think it has to do with they're not in a habit of standing up for themselves. If you're in a habit of always standing up for yourself, I think it's less likely that you're not going to stand up for yourself when you need to, when it comes down to it. Because you're comfortable with standing up for yourself. You're comfortable with speaking back against an authority figure, or someone who's in a power of a position of power. And if you've never done it before, you're probably not likely to do it. And I know people like in the military or lower ranks are usually don't stand up for themselves. When I was in the Army, I'll give you a story. I was in Afghanistan, and it was cold, and the Army gives you all these uniforms, but yet people don't know there's all these regulations on when you should wear what and this and that. And to me, I was like, man, it is cold out here. I'm putting on the it's called a fleece. I'm putting on this fleece. And somebody said, oh, you should the commander, the battalion commander said that he doesn't want us wearing that. And I was like, I don't give a damn what he said. First of all, we're not in the same area. He's all the way on one side of the fob, I'm on another, and we'll never cross paths. And again, you don't know who's in what unit because there's other people wearing it. And somebody from my company didn't like that, and they went and ratted me out. And I was like, I don't give a damn. And it come with my platoon sergeant came in and kind of chewed me out for it. But I'm like, hey, it's am I breaking any Army regulations? Like, and also if you want to talk about following the rules, if a battalion commander is going to put out rules, it should be on papers. If any policy is going to be put out, it should be put on in an official manner. It's not just he said it and it got trickled down, because I never heard it from his mouth. I never heard it from my commander's mouth. I heard it through another private. You know, it was never made official to me. So I was like, I'm not going off of PNN, private news network. So that's why I wore it. And he goes, yeah, but like you know, just because I don't want to hear the shit goes downhill and blah blah blah, you know, you just take it off. I'm like, nah, screw that. I still wore it. And then a sergeant major also had the same issue, but this sergeant major was wearing his fleece. He was in my battalion. I'm like, oh, but he could wear it? Well, he's a sergeant major. I'm like, so what? You know. Anyways, people were always afraid of rank. They'd be like, oh, here comes sergeant major, or here comes the commander, or here comes first sergeant. I'm like, they're another person, just like me and you. They're not special. They're not magician wizards. They don't have magical powers. Why are you afraid of them? You know, what's the worst they could do? Even the worst punishment, it's nothing. You know, I've gotten after I got in trouble a couple times, and the first time I was really scared. But after you get in trouble, you realize, man, this ain't nothing. You know, I got in the habit of always talking back, just because I don't know. Like once I did it a couple times. It became part of my nature to always stand up for myself, even if I know I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm trying to think of another situation. Well, that was just one scenario in my life. There was this one incident in September 11th where the fourth plane that got hijacked. The passengers, they said they fought back, and they fought back because they saw that the other three aircrafts had already crashed, or at least two of them had already crashed. So they knew that what the deal was. They knew, hey, either we just go ahead and die, or we fight back, and we might die, we might win. You know, you have a better chance if you fight back. You know, well, why not risk it? And they failed, but if you wager the odds, I don't know what percentages, but there's a chance that they would have succeeded. And if that scenario was run out multiple times, there was a chance that they could have succeeded. You know, unfortunately they didn't. But again, we see people not standing up to authority. That we see it with part of the Me Too movement, and like sexual harassment at work, where you have bosses or people in power who take advantage of their employees. And again, it comes with being I guess a subordinate, or a person in an inferior position, and we have that inferior mentality, and we just go with it. So my advice is always stand up for yourself, even at the lowest level. Get in the habit of standing up for yourself, because if you don't, when it comes down to it, you're probably not gonna, because it's something new to you. It's something foreign. So it's something that you're gonna go back to what makes you comfortable. I'm comfortable standing up for myself. I don't know how many jobs I've lost because I talk back. Even the job I have right now, me and my boss go back and forth, and I know I'm gonna get in trouble sometimes. But I'll tell him, man, look, man, if I feel like I'm in the right, I'm gonna let you know. And eventually, I'm still working here, so obviously we always come back to terms. But I'm trying to think what other jobs that I've. To me, a lot of people are afraid to talk to their boss because that's their main source of income. But for me, I've always had side hustles. So most of the time, I always have 2 or 3 jobs at a time. And I'm never worried about getting fired for one job, because I was like, well, I'll get fired here. I already got my other 2 jobs already secured. Then I'm always, I'm not worried about paying my bills. I have a source of income always. And I'm always looking for another job at the same time. They say the best time to apply for a job is not when you lose a job, it's when you have a job, because it doesn't make you desperate. And you're ready. You're ready to, if anything goes down at your job, you already been in the process of looking for a job. You already maybe have a job interviews already lined up. You're not at somebody's will. And because if you are at somebody's will, you're kind of you're less likely, I would think, to stand up for yourself and just basically get walked on by somebody. So that was my thing. It's on a slave mentality. It's stand up for yourself, and every day, even in the smallest level, kind of like what we call a Karen, in certain scenarios where you want to see speak to a manager. Like I said, I bet you most Karens, they're comfortable standing up for themselves. That even though they might be in the wrong sometimes, when they want to speak to a manager, it doesn't even faze them. That's who they are, because they do it all the time. But we, in a way, we should be more like that. But hopefully, when we're in the right. So I'll leave this with the question: have you ever not stood up for yourself? And when looking back, like you should have stood up for yourself in a scenario, and or are you the type of person that always stands up for themselves? All right. Trying to think for tomorrow's topic or the next video's topic. I'm trying to see what. I'm not sure. I'll think of something. Well, anyways, that's today's video.